And now, it's time for Southern California's sports fishing voice. Let's talk hookup. For the next 2 hours, join Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, Corey Sandin, and this week's special expert guest for fishing information, new techniques to catch more fish, and the most current scoop on what's happening in the water. Let's Talk Hookup is sponsored in part by Ford, the official truck of Let's Talk Hookup, and Shimano Rods and Reels. Fish with the best. Shimano. Get ready for the fastest 2 hours on radio with the hosts of Let's Talk Hookup, Pete Gray, Rock Cod Rick Maxa, and Corey Sandin.
Good morning, anglers, and welcome to Let's Talk Hookup. I'm Pete Gray with Rock Cod Rick Maxa. We're back in the world headquarters of Let's Talk Hookup here, right next to the very busy San Diego landings in Point Loma. We have a great guest for you today. Author, Baja expert Jeff Klassen is here with some great tales of Baja fishing. So you stay tuned. This is Southern California's sport fishing voice. It's Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio. Inside information is everything when it comes to catching fish in Southern California. You need a code group to connect with what's happening on the water. FishDope.com is your code group. Inside information available at your fingertips 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. FishDope.com really does help you catch more fish and burn less fuel. FishDope.com is the only fish finding service with a spotter plane, along with a crew of top anglers on the water almost every day that report actual locations and catches. They become your code group. You get daily catch reports from Point Conception to San Quintin, 365 days a year. FishDope.com has online planning tools, temperature and chlorophyll charts, hot bite icons, and more. Take it from me, if you don't have FishDope.com, you're not part of the in-the-know crowd. Membership is affordable and good for an entire year. Plus, use the special code to save $20 on a new FishDope.com membership. Check it out today. FishDope.com. Catch more fish, burn less fuel.
For quality, the Islander out of Fisherman's Landing is a favorite among anglers. But Islander Charters is much more than great fishing. The quality of the captains and crew, as well as the great meals and service, speak for themselves. Comfortable staterooms, a super clean and well taken care of boat are just a few of the reasons the Islander is so popular. The Islander specializes in 1.5 to 5 day fishing. Experience the Islander difference. Visit IslanderSportFishing.com.
In San Diego, the future belongs to everyone. So Ford engineered the truck of the future for everyone, the Ford F-150, available with a Pro Power onboard generator. What a great addition for anglers. There's also a variety of cab configurations for whatever you need to haul. The truck of the future isn't created for just a few. It's created for us who love the ocean and the outdoor life. Ford F-150. Test drive one at your local San Diego County Ford dealer today. They'll be glad to hook you up.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Man, today is going to be such a cool show. I'm so stoked to have Jeff in here. You want to talk about somebody that's kind of seen it and done it all. Today is going to be a rad day.
Yeah, good morning, Jeff.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, so it's been a while. You were on Let's Talk Hookup in the 90s, I'm thinking, right?
I think you started around 91, and I think I was here 96, 97.
Wow.
And you know what I noticed walking into the studio now is that we haven't changed a thing.
No, nothing's changed. We've aged a little bit.
Yeah.
And, I think you were on during the Marty Milner days.
Yes, Marty was here.
Yeah,
yep.
Ricky was probably answering the phones.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah, that was fun. That was a good show.
Yeah, so a lot's happened for you and in that time, and you wrote a couple books about all your adventures, right?
Yeah, people were bugging me for a long time to write a book, and it took me about 25 years to get this first one under my belt, and I did. And it's a fun book. It's got it's kind of a how-to, where-to, West Coast Mexico, Baja, all the way from up the Sea of Cortez down to as far as Huatulco down on the coast. Just kind of like my experiences and my techniques and things like that, which are quite a bit different than a lot of people. So
yeah,
we've had a lot of arguments over people like.
And your specialty is surf fishing, right?
It's funny.
Is to having your toes in the sand and being in the surf,
boots on the ground, sort of thing. Yeah, that's actually what got me to Baja in the first place. I started on vacation. I noticed back in '89 or so. I was down here in Cabo, and I was watching these rooster fish chasing. I didn't know what they were, and I saw these great big fish chasing mullet in the surf, and I had brought a trout pole from Canada down there with some spinners and MEPS lures and stuff, and of course none of that stuff worked. And I went into this fledgling local tackle shop that was just starting, and I said, "What are those fish?" And they said, "Oh, they're rooster fish, but you can't catch them from shore, and so you can only catch them trolling live bait." And I said, "Well, that doesn't make sense. They're coming right onto the beach."
Yeah, they're eating baits.
Yeah, so basically, I watched the mullet, how they were chasing the mullet up on the surface, and then they'd gobble them up. So I took a broomstick and cut it into some pieces, with a 30-degree angle on the end, and screwed some old tin hooks or eye hooks in there, a couple of treble hooks, and next thing you know, I started catching fish, and that led
created
to
a craze.
It did, because we were catching at the time. I mean, we get 60, 70, 80-pound rooster fish.
Oh my
from
gosh,
shore. Yeah.
wild!
And not only that,
and now it's like a mega craze with fly fishermen, conventional fishermen, all up and down the Baja
side by sides, ATVs, high end gear,
No, it. I was doing it for fun, and then people started seeing me do it, and they're like, "Oh, take me with you, take me with you." So I would take them, and then of course I'm handing off my rod all the time. I'm like, "What the heck?" I don't get to fish. Excuse me, myself. So I ended up buying a bunch of surf fishing rods and started these guided surf fishing trips, which kind of put my name on the map, and started using this Ranger lure that no one had ever heard of.
Yeah, that thing's deadly. Huh?
I know, and it's just you can use that all around the planet, and so that's kind of how that was the niche I filled there, and I did, of course, I had a little tackle shop there. I made offshore lures. We had charter boats and all that stuff too, but. The surf fishing thing, that's kind of
where your heart was.
Yeah.
And you took some pretty notable figures surf fishing, didn't you?
Yeah, actually that was when I was on your show last time. It was I had just taken Alice Cooper and his family surf fishing a couple times, and that was such a great experience. But because I knew the Hagars, Sammy and his brother Bob down there, they owned Cabo Wabo, and Sammy didn't fish, so he would, anytime any of his rock star buddies would come down there, he'd just send him over to my shop. So I'd be standing in my shop, and Guns N' Roses would walk into the, or I'm trying to think of some of the other ones, or Oscar De La Hoya. I took him fishing a couple times.
Wow.
And, so that was when I hooked up with you last time. I was in the middle of doing that kind of stuff. So
wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
So and what you've done is you've put a lot of these tales into these books, right?
Yeah, so what happened was, so I did this book, and it turned out it was larger than it was supposed to be. And so my publishers suggested, I had about 50 anecdotes and little stories, throughout the book. And he told me that since the book was too long, I guess there's a price point where if it's too big, it costs you so much more money. So he suggested I pull the stories out of there and just make it as a little separate, addition to this book, which I did. So I pulled these 50 little short stories out of there, and they're not all. It's a fun read, the story one, because it's not just big fish getting away.
Small book you can throw in your bag and read it on the plane or read it on the train or whatever.
Or by the pool or whatever.
And lots of
cool
great
photography,
photos and photography and cartoons and stuff.
But there's also stories.
Who did all the illustrations?
So Derek Redwine did some of them, and Ed Luterio. I don't know if you know that name. He's from New Jersey. He does Cabela's. He does all the murals and Cabela's and stuff. And he has had like three divorces, and he has alimony payments on all of them. So whenever he needs money, he sends me a message. Hey, I need $100. Do you want some art? So that's how I ended up having him do most of the artwork.
That's funny.
So the main book is Fishing Mexican Style.
Yeah.
And then the Sport Fisherman Volume 1, Tale of a Sport Fisherman Volume 1 is kind of antidotes from the main book.
It was originally they were originally in the main book, but as I said, it got too big to print.
But it's cool. I mean, for somebody that wants to know surf fishing and see some amazing photography.
Yeah, and there's and it covers everything, and from inshore to offshore. There's all that kind of marlin stuff and everything. But there's definitely a lot of surf fishing information in there, and where to go, how to catch them, and because there's a lot of people when they think of surf fishing. Baja, they think of roosterfish, and that's it.
Right.
You know, but there's huge Sierra mackerel. There's Jack Crevalle, the Cubera snapper, the Capargo they call them down there. Colorado snappers. There's in the rocky areas, like on the Gulf side, you know, out of San Jose up towards the East Cape and stuff. There's leopard grouper and yellow snapper, all kinds of snappers.
And that's become so popular now, the cabrilla fishing and and the rocks and the grouper fishing and stuff like that. And you have there's some amazing photography.
That's what I was just going to say. The photography in your book is world class.
It looks like you've caught virtually everything in the Sea of Cortez, right?
I think we've pretty much landed most of what's there. Although every so often you get something that I've never seen before.
Although I shouldn't say Sea of Cortez because you fished the Pacific Coast.
Yeah,
too,
Pacific Coast. Yeah, this book covers actually from about Mag Bay down to Cabo, and then up the whole Sea of Cortez. You know, Bay of Los Angeles, and across the other side, and then down all the way down to Huatulco. I fished all those places and.
Look at this. I'm looking at is that a leopard grouper?
That's a leopard grouper.
With a big popper sticking out of his one of your poppers hanging out of his face.
I think the Chinomaro next to it is the more impressive one. I think those are so cool looking.
Chinomaro, the clown or giant hawkfish is called.
Yeah, no, I mean it's pretty impressive. So of all these fish that you've listed in here, do you have any stories that just like you just want to tell our listeners and just like this was one of the moments in my life that was wow, this was amazing?
There's actually the very first roosterfish I caught, and it was like 1991. I caught it right at Gordo Point. I don't know if when you're driving up the coast, there's off where the Gordo
right
Points
there
are.
At the point. Yeah.
But right there off the Gordo Point, I had gone. It was right when I first moved to Cabo. I went down there, and I had like a 7 or 8 foot conventional rod. I think I got it from Tracy Ehrenberg at Pisces Fleet. I think she sold it to me for $50 or something.
Wow.
Anyway, I went over there, and all I had was this conventional. It was like a jig master or something on this short stick. And I went down to the point, because from the road up top, you could see all these huge roosterfish chasing mullet and right in at the point. So I went down there, and there were 3 local guys, 3 Mexicans down there that were hand lining, and there was one guy who was snagging mullet, and then the other 2 guys would hook one up, and then they'd hand line and
lasso it out there.
Yeah, and they'd get these huge roosterfish with 80 pounds, or more. And but they couldn't land any. They were just so big. Imagine on a hand line, right?
Yeah.
So anyway. I'm throwing out, again, like I said, little spoons and spinners and stuff I brought from Canada. And nothing, and I couldn't even get them out there. Well, anyway, so I thought, well, I'll do as the locals do, right? So I gave the guy 10 pesos or something and bought one of his dead mullet. And I hooked it up on a bait hook and, barely wung it out there because it weighed about, half a pound. So I get this thing out there, and this huge roosterfish comes in and just inhales this mullet. And off he goes, and he takes off, and I had him for about, I don't know, maybe 10 minutes. And the line busted. And I went, oh man, So I bought another mullet off this kid, threw it out there, and I swear to God, I'll never forget this. I watched, because I was standing about 10 feet up on a rock, and I watched this roosterfish follow it right below me. I'm sorry, still going away from the light. And he again grabbed this mullet, and I distinctly remember him grabbing that mullet, thinking that he's not anywhere near as big as the first one I had on, but he's still a good size.
Yeah.
So off he went. 3 hours and 20 minutes later.
Holy mackerel!
Yeah, and holy mackerel, right? And I'm going down. I'm walking around the rocks, and the line's going around the rocks, and I just think there's no way I'm going to land this thing. And finally, I get it up to shore, and the sun's just about to go down, and this big wave comes in, and meanwhile these 3 Mexicans are following me around. Yeah. And this big roosterfish washes up on the shore. I jump off the rock as this huge wave is coming in.
Okay.
And so the wave, just as all 4 of us hit the sand to grab this fish, this big wave crashed over top of us and rolled us up about 50 feet up onto the beach. Oh no, yeah, because the line had snapped.
Oh, geez.
When the fish hit the beach, the line broke and it was flopping on the beach.
Oh, gee.
So he's on the shore, but he's no longer attached.
And there's a big wave.
Yeah.
So we all jumped in and we grabbed this
fish, yeah.
And got it up to the shore. One guy stuck his hand right through his gills to get the thing. Anyway, we landed the fish. We're all excited. I put it in the back of a Samurai, a Suzuki Samurai. And I took it to the Palmilla Hotel on my way back to Cabo, because I knew a security guard there at night, and he just let me fish there. So we stuck it in his freezer, and I went back 3 days later to weigh that fish, and it weighed 82 pounds.
Wow, my gosh.
And it was, the first rooster fish I ever caught, and it was 82 pounds. And I found out right after that the 20-pound line class record, IGFA record, was 82. No, I think mine was 80, and it was 82 pounds was the record.
Right. You were 2 pounds shy.
Right there.
2 pounds shy, but remember that fish had been in a freezer just laying there for like 3 or 4 days and drying out. I mean, I'm sure that would have been a line class record, which I chased for many years after and never got it.
Yeah, and never got it.
No.
So I got to ask.
Yeah.
How big was the first one?
He had to be $125.
Oh,
come on.
Yeah.
They get that big?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Come on.
Oh, yeah.
What's the largest you've ever seen?
The largest I ever saw scared the hell out of me, actually. I was throwing rangers out by Migrino Point, which is north, around Todos Santos. And I was with 2 or 3 people, and they were kind of like half-ass fishing. They were drinking beer and had coolers and stuff. And I kept fishing, and I threw this lure, and this monster rooster fish came in. I thought it was a seal or something. I mean, it was so big. And that thing was, was easily 120, 130 pounds.
Holy mackerel.
Yeah, easy. He came right up to the shore, did a swoop around the lure, missed it. I threw it back out. He came back in again, did a second time, and then took off. And I don't even know. I don't think I could have even landed that thing. It was so big.
My gosh.
Jeez, that's cool.
That's a good story.
Yeah. And that's actually the biggest rooster fish I've ever landed. Was my first one.
That's the first one.
Yeah.
So, but you had a story you told me before the show about a giant pargo you caught from the beach.
Yeah.
Huh?
So actually that's the first chapter, or it's actually the introduction to the book. It's how
to the Tales of Sport Fishermen volume.
No, to the fishing Mexican
fishing in Mexico.
Yeah, to the main book. That's actually the introduction to it. Is this story of how I got to move to Cabo in the first place and start this whole fishing thing. And it was because I went a couple of times on vacation, and as I told you, I saw these fish chasing mullet and stuff. So I went back home. I made these broomstick handle things, thinking, okay, they might just chug along the top. And I went down there, and the very first lure I ever made was one of these broomstick things. I threw it out there, and on the very first cast, and I swear this is true, on the very first cast, I got a 66-pound pargo.
Come on.
Yeah, on the very first cast.
From the beach?
From the shore. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, and I walked up and down the beach for, I don't know, a good 45 minutes, an hour before I got this thing. And
I believe it.
Yeah. And
how'd you keep them out of the rocks?
You know what? People don't get that. That they assume pargo and snappers are always in the rocks. Excuse me. And that's not really true. Usually in the afternoons, the cuberos or the pargos, the Colorado snappers, which is another large snapper, they school up and they leave the rocks, and then they cruise up and down the sandy beaches, looking for mullet and crabs and stuff. Yeah, so
I wouldn't have thought that either. I would think that fish is always tight to its home.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh man, I can't tell you how many times we'd be like on Salmar Beach, or it's Terrasol or something, Finisterre, and you'd see this big patch going along the sandy beach, and everyone's oblivious to it. And I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God, there's pargos, and we run down there and throw lures there, and every time.
No kidding, how cool!
Yeah,
wow. That's something. That's good stories. Yeah. As you can hear, we have a great show lined up for today. A lot of stories that Jeff has from how many years in Baja?
Ooh, yeah. Well, better part of 30 years for sure.
How cool, man. Yeah. You're not kidding. What a great opportunity. What a great show and so much cool info. And, man, if you want to join us, we'd love to hear from you this morning. Give us a call at 213-432-1090. Again, 213-432-1090. Or you can send us a text. The text the show option so popular now. now on Let's Talk Hookup, and it's only available through the Let's Talk Hookup app. It's a free download. It's easy to get. It's a great way to listen to Let's Talk Hookup. You can hear all the archive shows, and your only way to send in your text questions if you want to talk to Jeff, have a story, have a great question. We talk about a guy that's got the info from 30 years of down there. This is going to be an awesome one. For sure. And we are giving away a killer prize today, too, at the end of the show. One lucky caller or texter is going to win each of Jeff's books. We're giving away a package that has both the Tales of the Sport Fisherman and the Fishing Mexican Style. So a couple of great books. And with that, you're also going to get a T-shirt, just an awesome prize pack. Yeah. And you're going to get that great 2024 Bill Varney Sport Fishing Calendar with all the great tides and pertinent fishing information.
What a package.
Yeah, great prize coming for one lucky caller or texter at the end of the show today.
Yeah, for sure. As you can hear, we have a great show lined up for you today. When we come back, we're going to take more of your lots of phone calls, lots of texts, and lots of good stories.
Yeah, no
Jeff,
doubt.
for sure. You stay tuned. This is Southern California Sport Fishing Voice. Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app and the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
When you want dependable service for your outboard or a new or used boat, your first choice should be H&H Marine at their new location, near where the 5 and 805 freeway meets. North County, Central, or South, the new H&H Marine is near you. They also have added an amazing lineup of boats for both fishing and pleasure cruising, like Barletta and Godfrey pontoon boats, and Hurricane runabouts, all on display. Defiance fishing boats and many used boats are available too, along with Yamaha and Mercury outboard sales and service. Speaking of service, Jeff and his crew have you covered. As a factory-authorized Yamaha and Mercury Service Center, H&H Marine will be sure the job is done right. They have Blue Water Bait Tank, both cells and expert installation, as well as Tack-A-Cat inflatables. The perfect tender for your boat. For outboard sales and service, pontoon boats, fishing boats, and bait tank systems, check out H&H Marine at their new location, 10685 Roselle Street in San Diego. Check hhmarinesd.com.
Hey, this is Rosie with Cedros Sport Fishing. We have always been the leader in fishing trips to Cedros Island. We have set the bar even higher with our second lodge opening for the 2022 season. Side-by-side lodges sitting on the cliff's edge with relaxing ocean views. With direct flights departing through the CBX in San Diego, we are committed to providing first-class service to our guests and an unforgettable fishing experience. Come check out the yellowtail and calico bass capital in the world. Nobody does it better than Cedros Sport Fishing. Call me at 619-772-7570 or check us out at cedrosportfishing.com.
Here's the hot tip on the best fishing LA has to offer. 22nd Street Landing Sport Fishing in San Pedro. They are home to LA's finest open party fleet, including overnight on the Freedom, Catalina Freelance on the Pursuit, half-day trips on the Monte Carlo, and three-quarter-day trips on the Sea Angler. For your own private charter, we have the Outrider and Trueline available. There's always plenty of free parking and a fully stocked tackle store. 22nd Street Landing Sport Fishing in San Pedro. Call 310-832-8304 or on the web at 22ndstreet.com.
Fillet knives shouldn't be disposable. Introducing AFTCO fillet knives that are built to last. Designed in collaboration with Boker, Germany, AFTCO knives feature 4116 German stainless steel, bonded with titanium nitride to ensure optimum corrosion resistance and exceptional edge retention. A non-slip TPR handle maintains a firm grip when processing game fish. Premium in every sense, AFTCO fillet knives are available in multiple length options to provide the right tool that gets the job done season after season. Fillet knives from AFTCO. Any fish, any water.
Great fishing is what Seaforth Sports Fishing in Mission Bay is all about. With free parking and fully stocked tackle shop, Seaforth Sport Fishing is a favorite among anglers. Come aboard top boats like the Aztec, Cortez, Endeavor, Apollo, Outer Limits, Elgato Doe, Pride, Polaris Supreme, Tribute, Pacifica, Pacific Voyager, and the Voyager. Plus, the new Seaforth, Sea-Watch, and San Diego offer the finest half and full day trips available. Seaforth Sport Fishing. For charters or schedule, check seaforthlanding.com. Run by fishermen for fishermen in Mission Bay.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup again. Having a great time here this morning. Going to be so fun having Jeff in here talking fishing. And again, if you want to get your shot to get through, phones are packing up. 213-432-1090.
Boy, so of all the figures that you took fishing, all the rock stars and the actors and stuff, which one was your favorite?
Oh, you're going to laugh when I tell you this. You remember Ruth Buzzy?
Yeah.
the comedian.
Oh, sure, from Laughing. Yeah. I'm old enough. I don't know. Rick's old enough to remember that.
I wasn't going to say that. I was just going to politely keep my mouth shut. Yeah,
I was only 2 when that show was.
Ringy ring.
Yeah. Well, she, I don't know if you know this, but for a couple of years, I had a fishing show on Fox Sports and Outdoor Life Network called Surf and Shore Fishing the World. I know, kind of a lame title, but I didn't pick it. But Ruth did a couple of shows with me.
With you?
Oh, no way.
Yeah, one of them was we were fishing Catalina Island. And it was shore fishing, and I can't remember what we were after. I think it was barred surf perch or something. But we were catching guitar fish.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for some reason that's what we were catching. Anyway, we were fishing with bait, and then we switched to lures. We were throwing little crocodile spoons and stuff. And at one point, I was showing her how to cast. Surf rod. You know, we had shorter rods we were using, and then we pulled out this surf rod. And somebody had told her about this ridiculous thing about pendulum casting. I don't know if you ever heard of that.
Uh-huh.
Where they hang about.
So she was into fishing.
Yeah, she was always into fishing. Yeah. So this pendulum casting, you have about 6 or 8 feet of line hanging off the end of your rod, and you kind of like pendulum around and then throw it. Well, anyway, someone had told her about this, and so she was trying to do that. So we put a crocodile spoon on there, and she takes this rod, and I'm standing right beside her, and she does this great big pendulum swing, swings the lure around, forgets to open the bail on the reel, and so the spoon comes around, hooks me right in the
no!
right in my shorts, like just hanging right there.
Oh!
And this was all on film. You know, the camera guy Kevin was there, and he's filming it, and he follows the lure right to my crotch, just nails me there. And I look down, and I look up at Ruth, and I said, "Oh, I didn't know you want to go back to live bait." And so it was kind of a moment we had on there. Yeah, she was a really good time. She's a very, very funny lady.
Really?
Cool.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a good story. Well, hey, we have great texts. We have great phone calls. You want to get through, here's your chance. 213-432-1090. I have a great text here from Mike in San Juan Capistrano. And let me bring it up here for you. And it's, good morning, guys. Congratulations on surviving the craziness of Tackle Day, which is true. We'll talk about that in a sec. I have some questions for Jeff. As fishing slows down here in Southern California, where in Baja should I be looking to target good fishing December, January, February?
Well, depends on what you're into. If you're into inshore fishing or offshore fishing, what did you say? January, February?
January, February, like December, January, February.
Okay, so December, January, February is not a good surf fishing time per se. Certainly not for rooster fish or jacks or sierras.
For Southern Baja.
Yeah, Southern Baja. They're more. Are you asking about like all of Mexico, or
maybe like wherever? And
where would you go if you had that?
Where would you go?
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you're into the surf fishing part of it, definitely Mazatlan. They seem to have a year-round fishery there for rooster fish and jacks and stuff. Even around Puerto Vallarta is really good as well. There's
even snook too, right?
Big time snook. Yeah, snook. There's I actually had the all tackle world record for snook back in '91. It was the first snook I ever caught. Yeah,
where'd you catch that?
In Cabo, right?
In Cabo.
Yeah,
you've got a game plan of catching the biggest thing ever on your first try.
Well, I know it was the first one, but it's been beat 100 times, since then. But now it's like 50-some pounds. But definitely the West Coast as opposed to Baja for inshore fishing.
Okay.
All the way down to as far as Zihuatanejo, there's you can catch
roosters down there.
The whole
really?
Oh yeah, you can get them all the way down to Ecuador. I mean, they go down.
Wow.
Yeah,
I know I've caught them in Costa Rica before.
Yeah, Costa Rica, big ones, time. Yeah, I ran a lodge there for a year once, and we caught a ton of them there too.
Yeah. Well, so there you go. So I've heard Mazatlan can be fantastic.
It is.
But it's interesting because it's kind of on the same latitude as Cabo.
I know.
But yet,
you think
why?
It's funny. I've never really known as Cabo as being holding resident fish. It's all migratory.
Yeah.
Whereas on the west coast of Mexico, like from Mazatlan down to Zihuatanejo, they seem to have resident fish all year round. Yeah. I don't know why. They just do.
Well, speaking of Baja, let's head south down to Rancho Leonero right now. And a guy I'm sure you know, John Ireland's on the line. Buenos dias, John.
Hey, John.
Good morning, Pete. Hello, Rick. Hi, Jeff.
How are you?
dias. Buenos dias. Well, it's good. The weather's been nice. We haven't had much wind on the East Cape, which is great for this time of year. We're hoping that holds through the end of the month. It's cooling rapidly. It's beautiful fall weather. It's cooler mornings now. We're in the high 50s in the morning and warming up into the 80s during the day. Real pleasant weather. The water is cooling rapidly. It's down now to 82 degrees, which is a good temp for the fish, that's for sure. Really the only thing we've got going on right now, and then we're getting a real good bite on it, is the Dorado. And limits for Dorado for all anglers every day. And nice. They've been in the same two spots for the last 6-8 weeks. And why that area holds them, I couldn't tell you. It's a sand bottom and about 120-foot depth. And it's about a mile and a half just direct off the hotel. There's one spot, and then right off the banks off of La Rivera is the other. And they've been holding loads of Dorado for the last 8 weeks. Pretty much all anglers during that time have been limiting and bringing in nice fish. Nice-sized fish, you release the smaller fish, and so I'd say the average fish is 10 to 12 pounds, and then they're picking up some nice bulls, 30, 40-pound bulls in there. What's really helped us, a little late in the game, it's been tough to get sardine this year, All year long it's been a real struggle for bait. Of course, now there's an abundant sardine, and that's helping the fishing as well. But it's really been all about the Dorado. The tuna, they haven't been picking up many tuna at all. Bottom is good. There's some nice par going to Bria. We're picking them up. And the sardine, again, is really helping on the bottom stuff, too. So, but good Dorado fishing right now. Beautiful weather, you guys. And looking forward to seeing everybody this coming few weeks.
Yeah, just like we're counting down the last 4 weeks of Rancho Leonero, right?
Every one of these, I just get more and more bummed when the report finishes.
I think we're down to three weeks, you guys. I'm counting the days now, and it's dawning on me that it's all happening. It's coming on fast.
So if you want to go to Rancho Leonero, this is your truly your last chance to go, and I know you're going to be here next Saturday in the studio with Rick and myself, so that'll be fun.
Yep, it'll be my last big show on the show.
Yeah,
so I'm looking
for sure.
Not your last show.
Yeah, not your last show. Last official show, shall we say?
Right.
Last one.
Yeah, the last official show.
You haven't gotten rid of me yet, guys.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Well, hey, if somebody wants to grab one of the spots left for Rancho Leonero here in November, how do we do it?
Thanks, Pete. It's 800-646-2252 or rancholeonero.com.
All right. Thanks, John, and we'll see you next Saturday right here in the World Headquarters.
Looking forward to it, gentlemen.
See you, John.
We are too. Thanks, John. Appreciate that. All right, phones are packing up. You want to get through 213-432-1090. Let's jump into it.
You got it, man. Your chance to win both of the books and the T-shirt and the calendar. We're going to talk to Hills. Hills is calling us from Ventura this morning, a big surf fishing guy. What's up, Hills?
Good morning, guys. Good morning, Pete and Rick and Jeff. That's an exciting topic. I'm super stoked. I love all fishing, but surf fishing is something I've really been into. I had
just for background's sake for Jeff, real quick. Hills calls the radio. He's a regular caller, calls the show often, and oftentimes in the surf, you'll hear him calling in the show, and you'll hear waves crashing in the background while he's fishing up in Ventura. So
that's
one of your people for sure.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So here's something that Jeff can attest to. I don't know. Anyways, Huatulco. So I went down there to fish Barra de la Cruz. To surf, and it's a really good surf spot. So my wife and daughter went with me and had a rent-a-car, and we drove down there, and we would go to that spot and surf every day. But I had a fishing pole, like a trout pole.
Yeah.
And there was these some locals fishing off the rocks with, the classic tin can with line wrapped around it, and they're catching some kind of fish, and there was all kinds of fish, and plus those, water fleas or whatever biting you when you're surfing, and stuff like that.
Right.
It was exciting. But then, anyways, I would surf and then I would fish, throwing like little crocodiles. Anyways, I caught a couple of those yellowfin jack. I think they're called yellow jacks or whatever they're.
Jack Crevalle.
And I think that's what those locals were catching off the rocks. It looked like a husband and wife team or something. Anyways, it was getting almost to the end of the day, and they were going to lock the gate. I had to get out of there, and then I hooked a bigger model, and I'm running down the beach with this thing, and it was like a half-hour ordeal, and I hear this horn honking, and it was like my wife and daughter in the car because the mosquitoes were attacking. So I got in trouble, and it wasn't the first time fishing has got me in trouble. So that's why I think a lot of guys name their boat, the name of their wife, because
get them out of trouble for fishing, right?
Yeah, good call.
That's funny.
That's cool, Jeff.
Yeah. Hey, did you get anything? Did you get anything of size? I've never really had that much luck in Huatulco. I mean, mostly jacks, like you said, Crevel, but.
No, that thing it busted off finally after about a half an hour. It was. That's
cool,
why I
That's
fished.
too bad you couldn't hit.
It was so exciting.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Good
Well,
story.
And Hills, appreciate you making the drive all the way down to come to Tackle Day yesterday.
it was
That's
good
a long
seeing you.
haul, and we sure appreciated the support, buddy. That was fun.
All right.
All right.
Good.
I appreciate that. Hey, I had a great text come through. This one was from Jeff in Torrance, and I thought it was just a great text question for Jeff here, being a resident of Florida, but so much in Baja. Question is, do Goliath groupers exist in Baja? If so, what is the take rule, and where would you find them? That's from Jeff in Torrance.
Wow, good question. Everybody seems to lump these fish together, Jewfish and the giant Gulf groupers and stuff. I don't know about the actual Goliath grouper, which we have in Florida. I don't know if it's a different species as the Gulf grouper per se. I know they get to the same size and they're big fish and everything, but. The Sea of Cortez had a pretty good fishery for grouper many, many years ago, and it was pretty much wiped out. And but it's coming back. I mean, they're catching big fish like that again. I honestly don't know what the take is, if you're allowed to even keep them yet, or if there's a size limit on them. But they are coming back, and I'm really glad to see that, because the oceans actually can come around. It's proof that it can be done. But again, I don't know what the current regulations are for that. Something you'd have to check out.
Yeah. So you're now a resident in Florida. Are you getting the hang of the surf fishing there?
Yeah.
Right.
There's what's really cool about Florida is that there's so many jetties and piers and even man-made lakes. I mean, it's just surrounded by water
everywhere.
Yeah.
Sure.
So I mean, I even catch peacock bass there.
Wow.
In ponds, around there. But snook fishing is fantastic.
Yeah. So you can stand right in the sand.
Yeah,
and
you can
catch
stand.
snook.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, a couple of years ago, I hooked a tarpon from shore that had to be 100 plus.
Oh my!
Yeah, and he was part of a school and took off, and I never did land it, but
Can't imagine
but you can get them though. There's I've met a bunch of people there that have caught tarpon from shore. Even things like cobia, you can get them from shore sometimes, and they have
poppers and stuff.
Yeah.
Using your same Baja
stuff. The Rangers.
That's right.
The Zara spooks and stuff like that.
Yeah.
A lot of twitching and stuff like that. They do redfish, which is a red drum. They catch a lot of those there too, or we do, and speckled trout, which you think of trout as freshwater, but
sure. So tell us about your website, real1in.com.
Yeah,
Real One In.
Real One In.
Yeah, so some people would know, I first moved to Cabo in 1990, and I actually had a website. I had one of the very first fishing websites, I believe. It was like 1991. You remember when laptops weighed about 50 pounds?
Yeah.
And so I had
phones were like 6 pounds.
Bricks.
So I did have this website since then. So it's an old website, and it's been revamped a couple times, and it has again right now. It's real1in.com, and I've got a bunch of new surf fishing lures on there. A friend of mine in Mexico makes a bunch of really interesting ones.
Okay, so you have some good lures.
Yeah. So I've the Ranger's a hard lure to find right now. I've been trying to buy out the company for a while. well.
And you have them on the website?
Yeah, I don't have Rangers on there, but all my other lures, there's about 6 or 8 other good surf fishing lures, good for snook and pargo and roosterfish, jacks, all that kind of stuff.
And your books and your T-shirts.
Books are on there. I got a couple of new T-shirts there on there. Some hats are coming and stuff. So it'll be a fun website too. There's a lot of photos.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Again, Real, REEL, the number 1in.com.
Yeah, Real 1in.
Check that out. Let's go ahead and jump back on the phones. You want to get through 213-432-1090.
Joey in Riverside is up next on Let's Talk Hookup. What's up, Joey? Good morning.
Morning, fellas. I got a last question for Rick about CalStar pole. If I was going to get a 7-foot or 8-foot, what number would I get?
Well, I mean, I guess it would just all depend on what kind of fishing you were going to be doing, Joey. There's lots of great options, and it just all depends if it's inshore or offshore or a big tuna. So,
you going to fish on a sport boat for tuna?
Yes.
So I would say, with the bluefin tuna, the size they've been this year, the probably most common, all-around type size rod would be a 40-pound outfit. And if you were looking for a 40-pound CalStar rod and a 7-foot rod, I would do a CalStar Graphiter 700 heavy. And if you wanted a 7.5-footer, I would do an 875 heavy. And for an 8-footer, I would do an 800 extra heavy.
Can't beat any of that combination.
No, I mean, it's CalStar. Like,
Good stuff.
You can't.
The best.
Yep, no doubt about it.
For sure. And they're actually more available now than they have been, right?
No doubt. I mean, CalStar is still not, every single model available every day, but the production woes of a couple years ago they're doing a great job. John is who's kind of heading the production things. John Todd, Leon's son, and Pat still runs the operation, right. and they're doing way better than ever before. Not ever before.
So you actually have a lot
that's
of
what I'm trying to say.
Stock.
You got it, exactly.
Yeah, you have them in stock.
We have a lot less in stock
after
today
yesterday,
than we did yesterday.
Tackle Day,
There's a lot of CalStars that moved out of that store.
I can imagine, especially at a discount.
Yeah, it's going really good.
Yeah, but they're there. They're available.
They are, yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I have a great question here via text on our Let's Talk Hookup app from Kevin in San Clemente. He says, what are some of the must-have books for fishermen headed to Mexico?
There's a new book out called Fishing Mexican Stuff.
That's available. That's available on your website.
Yeah, so you
Real1in.com,
or you can get it on Amazon as well.
That's a good one.
Yeah, and that's of course I'm biased.
And are you going? Is it going to help people that want to learn about fishing in Mexico?
Absolutely, and it's not. And I wrote it as just a regular schmuck fisherman. I mean, I'm just like it's not
just a basic guy.
Yeah, it's not a pretentious thing in any way. I don't throw around a whole bunch of funky words and hook sizes and stuff. I mean, it's just basically somebody who wants to go to Mexico and fish. Here's what you can
awesome.
do. Yeah,
and I know that surf fishing, toes in the sand, is your passion, but you've done everything. Offshore fishing, trolling big lures for marlin and dorado and tuna, and I mean you've done it all down there.
Yeah, it's funny. I'm known for that for the surf fishing thing, but I did. I made my own offshore lures in the tackle shop and stuff. It's funny. Kip McNear.
Oh yeah,
yeah. So yeah, right. So yeah, I've known him forever. So I sent him a copy of this book a month ago or something when it came out, and so I said, hey, what did you think of the book? And he goes, oh, it's okay. He says, but you need to write a surf fishing book. He says, you're known for surf fishing. And I said, oh, all right, I guess I can do that. So
yeah, and so there it is.
Yeah. So,
right.
Well, so this is So I'm working on.
He's saying Kit wants a dedicated surf fishing only.
Yeah, just for surf
because
fishing.
This book has everything.
Yeah,
I mean, there's in addition to a beautiful shot of you holding a big rooster fish on the beach, there's also a jumping striped marlin.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, what was I going to say there about the photo? Bill Boyce gave me that photo. I asked him if he could provide a photo for the cover.
But as far as a book for you, Kevin, this guy lived and breathed and
man, no doubt.
And knows the Baja and mainland Mexico in addition. So this would be a very good source for you.
Yeah, it's for anyone that wants to.
Yeah,
that's cool.
For sure.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including more your phone calls, more texts. We got catch reports coming up and more. You stay tuned. It's Let's Talk Hookup, Southern California sport fishing voice on the mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
Low, low, low gas prices, great service, and free ice is what Summit Gasoline at the San Diego Sports Arena is all about. For your car, truck, and especially your trailer boat, you need Summit Gasoline. The savings are substantial when you fill up at the Summit, but they don't compromise on service. No way. The great staff is attentive, friendly, and ready to help. When you pull up to the pumps, notice how clean it is, the great sound system, and of course, the low gas and diesel prices. Walk into the Summit Gasoline Bistro and check out the selection of frozen bait and chum, the top-of-the-line Italian coffee, and so much more. Now, hear this. Get 100 pounds of ice free with a 35-gallon minimum purchase, and stock up on snacks, beer, water, soda, and fishing licenses for your trip. Just when you need low gas prices most, Summit Gasoline at the Sports Arena comes to the rescue. Summit Gasoline. Low prices, friendly staff, free ice, and easy in and out with your boat and trailer at the San Diego Sports Arena.
Hey, it's time to talk about great equipment from Shimano, and a lot of it got moved yesterday, I can tell you that, at Tackle Day. But the fun part was the Shimano casting contest, and what a perfect rig for a casting outfit. Why don't you describe that?
It's my favorite part of Tackle Days. Yeah, we have 3 identical outfits, and they're perfect for casting because somebody who's done very little of it or someone who's at the expert level can pick up the same rig and have similar results, and that's exactly what we do. So our outfit of choice, because of their being so user-friendly for casting, is a Shimano Tranx 500. We match that with a Shimano Terramar 9-foot heavy rod, and we fish Power Pro Spectra. We do a little Top Shot Amano, and we cast a Sala 7X. And the reason we like that outfit so much is people with lesser experience, because the line is laid level to the level line, the distance from the level line to the spool, and just how well that reel fits in your hand, it's very easy for people to cast. It has a centrifugal braking system, which slows the spool when it's spinning at its fastest, but then as centrifugal force relaxes, the spool breaks back off. So it's not a magnet where it's constant. It only slows your spool when it needs to be slowed. And
it's an amazing casting reel.
It casts
and you can catch big fish on a Tranx 500.
And a guy made a 108-yard cast with it yesterday to win a Tranx 500 at the casting contest.
Yeah,
it's an awesome reel.
You want a great surface iron casting outfit? Tranx 500 and the Terramar rod is a great match.
When it comes to fishing rods for saltwater, there's just one name you need to know: CalStar. Take, for example, the Graphiter series. It's a true graphite and fiberglass composite rod, the finest it's ever been built. And for anglers seeking traditional performance, durability, and quality at an affordable price, the CalStar West Coast series of rods and blanks are the ones for you. Their master craftsmen bring decades of rod building experience to every rod they make. So if you want your fishing rods to be truly state-of-the-art, I always recommend CalStar at fine tackle stores everywhere. It's time for the Power Pro 30-second seminar. I like catching big fish, and I like smaller reels too. How do I make sure that I have the capacity to land the big one? I fill my reels with Power Pro Max Quattro. It's 25% thinner than standard Power Pro, so you get more line on that small reel. Power Pro has a complete series of highly effective lines, including the brand new Power Pro Depth Hunter Offshore with different colors every 100 feet. Perfect for flatfall fishing. Want to learn more? Check powerpro.com.
Welcome back to Let's Talk Hookup. Having a great time here this morning, talking fishing with Jeff and taking your phone calls. Lots of good stuff going on today.
Yeah, let's find out what's biting, Rick.
You got it, man. It's time for the catch sport today. It's time for tuna in SoCal, and if you're not using Gamakatsu hooks, you are missing bites. That Nautilus Circle hook comes in sizes as small as a number 4 all the way up to a 6.0. And for big fish, the Nautilus HD is tough enough, but not too oversized to make your bait swim. They both come available ringed or non-ringed. You can see your local dealer or check out Gamakatsu.com. We got our man, Captain Ryan Woolley from Dana Ware Sport Fishing is online right now. What's up, Woolley?
Hey, good morning, guys. How's it going in there?
Good morning.
Doing great. Good morning.
Good, man. Gosh, I remember being a kid back in the 90s and buying one of your poppers and taking it on a trip to Cabo when I was a kid. Good stuff, man. One of the old school ones. Like the PVC pipe with the wood and long time ago.
Yeah, the first generation.
And did they work?
Yeah. That worked. Yeah, I caught some stuff in the surf. Yeah,
there you go.
Hey, so you know what? Just a quick little thing here. So those poppers, what had happened was I got a call one time from a guy, and he said, "Are you the guy that makes those poppers?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Oh, I was fishing in the bay up in San Francisco somewhere, and there was he was walking the beach, and a guy was catching striped bass with one of my poppers." Huh. And he said, "What are you using?" So he gave him my package, and the guy called me. Well, it turned out the guy who was fishing was a drummer for what's that guitarist?
Sammy Hagar?
No, the Mexican guy, the famous.
Oh, Carlos Santana.
Carlos Santana. He was Carlos Santana's drummer.
Wow.
So anyway, I was on this huge high, like, oh my God, somebody famous using my poppers. And then about a week later, I get a call from some guy. He said, "Hey, guess what? I was in a Goodwill store and I found 2 of your poppers in there." And it brought me right back down to earth.
Oh, man.
That's when you know you made it, when you can find your lures in Goodwill.
Goodwill, yeah. Oh, man.
That's funny.
So what's going on at Dana Wharf?
Good stuff, man. Hey, just classic fall week here, Beautiful weather. The half-day scene for us, we've been kind of poking around in the shallows, targeting that sheephead and the bass. Some nice quality on that fish there in that shallow water, like inside 2 fathom. Fly line bass action as well on the live sardine this week. Our water temps at 65 to 67, so still definitely a shot at some stuff on that live bait on the surface. But a lot of the stuff that we have been catching has been on the sliding sinker setups and some on the artificials as well. Some guys cast some rubber lures this week, did okay on catching some bass. But with sheephead this week, as you'd imagine, on the clam and the shrimp that the guys are bringing there, kind of rounds out that half-day scene. The 3/4-day stuff for us right now, we've been on that rockfish program. We've had excellent fishing over the last couple of weeks in the 40 to 50 fathom areas. So very good fishing with nice mixed bags of reds, chilies, and macachio. Along with that rockfish, there's plenty of other stuff to kind of fill in the gaps, like the whitefish and the sculpin. But, man, again, the conditions have just been really favorable. And, it's been biting really well as a result of that stuff. And then offshore over at Clemente, the Fury has been catching some fish. The scene at Clemente was a bit slow with some calico bass on the kelp lines and sheephead and whitefish and stuff. But that offshore scene for the Fury, still some shots at that bluefin. Mixed-sized fish, 25 to 50 pounds with some bigger fish in the 100-pound range. Jigs, sinker rigs, caught some fish, as did the fly line sardine. And, Christian on the Lexi, he's still staying busy as well. That 4-pack, getting out off the dock, having some shots at tuna this week as well. It's just, taking some time, getting zones kind of covered and checked off the list, where to be, where not to be. But he's had some good opportunity out there, and he's still been able to make a catch. So that kind of rounded out our week. We had guys all over the place doing all kinds of different stuff, but we're still catching some fish. So we're looking forward to another good week. And also Friday being Veterans Day, we're running a promo on our half-day and 3/4-day trip. You book a trip for yourself, you can bring a veteran family or friend to fish free with you on Friday on half-day or 3/4 day. So jump on that opportunity.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome deal.
So book online, call the landing office. They can help you make a reservation, but to take advantage of that, that'll fill up too. And it's good for whale watching too on that day as well. So if you guys want to get on that and just get out on the water, give the landing a call. Our number here, 949-496-5794. Of course, you can hit us there at danawharf.com and book online.
Now, is that for Veterans Day next Saturday? Is that, or just the one day or the whole weekend?
It's just Friday.
It's just Friday. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Very good.
Awesome.
Sounds great. Well, I appreciate that very much, and we'll talk to you next Sunday.
All right, guys. Thanks for that. Have a great week.
Thanks, Willie.
Hey, I want to throw out a big hi to Captain Mark Wish, who just sent me a text photo cruising down the Mississippi River.
Hey,
with his lovely wife,
all right.
And Mark said he's listening to Let's Talk Hookup on the Let's Talk Hookup app while he cruises the Mississippi River.
Wow, cool.
How about that?
He gets a big flathead, man.
Yeah, maybe. It could happen. Yeah.
That's cool. Well, hey, we're going to continue on. Man, it wouldn't be the catch report without talking a little surf fishing, and a perfect day to do it with Jeff in here. We got our surf fishing guru, Gundy Gunderson, is on the line. What up, Gundy?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
We're doing
great,
buddy.
I can picture Wish, poling down the river with a corncob pipe.
Yeah.
Is that what we're looking at?
Checking the depth with the lead line.
Little banjo playing.
Yeah, perfect. How are you?
Hey, we got cooling water, shorter days, low pressure systems swinging through, kind of typical November as the season turns. But still opportunity exists. The bay And that San Diego Bay and lagoon fishing continues to kick out some nice halibut, and it's a bait thing like we've talked about. And then on the northern front, barred perch fishing really picked up. You know, the water temperatures in the low 60s and stuff, the perch like that. And they had some really good fishing all week at some of those typical winter perch spots. Hook, line, sinker reported very good barred perch fishing. Cooling water temps had the fish on the bite all along this stretch. Refugio, East Beach, Goleta, Carpinteria, Summerland, all those classic spots producing. Lugworms, mussels, seems like the bait bite was a little better. The halibut were also biting well, but hard to get a legal one. Have to really weed through 8 or 10 fish, you know, to get one just legal. So a lot of smaller models. And they also had 2 8-pound stripers at that Ventura River mouth again. So, you know, that's one of those spots you peg as kicking out some stripers, and you want to comb those areas. Those fish were taken on flash minnows. Wiley's reported good perch action off Malibu beaches. Shop Regular had 7 fish yesterday on fresh frozen market squid. He was fishing at Leo Carrillo. And then there's some squid boats popped up off County Line there, so that's telling you there's some cool water top to bottom. And there was some sea bass catches in on the beach there. No big fish, a few just legal, some short fish, but that's something to keep your eye on. And then that San Diego Bay thing still going in the lagoons there. Several halibut catches to 34 inches were reported. And in the shallows, and we're talking shallows, one of the guys was telling me he was fishing extreme low tide. Okay, so the channels are constricted, and the bait was kind of congesting in those channels, and he took a 34-inch fish on a drop shot zoom fluke. So that's kind of the thing. There's been a few orangemouth, a few short fin, and lots of spotted bay bass with it. So find the bait, find the fish. That's what that bite's about.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Hey, Gundy, great report on the surf, and we sure appreciate what you do, and we'll talk to you next Sunday.
All right, you got to bust out that beanie nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, in the morning. It's cold, yeah.
It is chilly. All right, gentlemen, great show. Thanks,
you.
That wraps up our catch report.
You got it, man. Want to remind you, those 2024 Bill Varney CCA calendars are available right now at your local tackle shops, at the landings. They're loaded with all that great photography, all the information, the best tide charts. Go get your calendar today. 2024 is not far away.
Yeah, really close.
It's really not
creeping
far
up
away.
fast. Hey, I'm looking at your website, real1in.com, and I see surf fishing lures, big game lures. I see books and T-shirts and vintage film collections and photographs. So tell us about the art and the films that's available.
Okay, so I for quite a while now I've taken old photographs and old postcards, you know, from the 30s, 40s, 50s, and super high definition, scan them and recolor them up, take off, you know, any kind of blemishes and stuff, color them up, and then I make prints out of them. And so I've got quite a few of those that I offer on the website. And then also we had mentioned Ed Luterio, the artist who did this book. I commissioned him to do a whole bunch of really interesting fish art.
Cool.
And so I've made those into 8x10s as well, and you can find them on the website too. Yeah, some of them are really neat. Yeah, they're really cool. I know it sounds kind of weird, but
nah.
And then the vintage films. I've been collecting like old 16 millimeter, 8 millimeter films for many years, and I actually have all the transfer equipment to be able to transfer it into digital. So what I've been doing the last few years, I've been taking some of this old bass films and marlin fishing films and stuff from the last century, and been making compilation videos of them. So they're not up on there yet, but they're going to be up there pretty soon, and they're really interesting.
Sounds
they're
cool.
Really,
yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, some of them they're fun to watch. You remember they were made back in the day when they had one camera, and no wireless mics, and they were very politically correct in every way possible.
How funny.
So there'll be some of those up there as well.
That's awesome.
That sounds cool. That sounds cool. So that's again at your website.
Yeah, real1in.com.
And a bunch of lures too. A bunch of great surf fishing lures and
there's a bunch. Yeah, the big game ones. Now that's a part I'm working on the website. I know a lot of guys that make, in Hawaii and places that make offshore lures, and they don't have a means of getting them out there, other than local. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set them up like they're artists, because they pretty much are.
Totally.
These guys that make handmade offshore lures. And so I'm going to be featuring 4 or 5 or 6 different lure guys that will have their stuff available on the site too. Yeah,
that's a great idea.
Stuff.
Hey, when we come back, we got a lot more Let's Talk Hookup coming your way, including checking in with Captain Mike Pritchard of the Tribute. We got more Let's Talk Hookup on the Mightier 1090 ESPN Radio.
On your next fishing trip, you want to maximize your catching power by using the best jigs available. That's why you need Sea Falcon. These handmade Japan brand certified lures will take your fishing and catching to the next level. All Sea Falcon jigs and plugs are hand painted in Japan, utilizing the highest level of quality and attention to detail. Gamakatsu's premium assist hooks are ideal to pair with Sea Falcon lures. From knife jigs, short jigs, poppers, and plugs, Sea Falcon lures get it done. Check SeaFalconUSA.com.
There are moments that change our perception of what is and isn't possible. Cosmic shifts where the stars align with the Earth to alter how we see the world. The release of King Tide is one of those moments. This is the crowning achievement of Costa's 40-year legacy on the water, the culmination of every innovation and lessons learned up until this point. Wins and losses and highs and lows have brought us here to stand witness to a legacy brought to life, to achieve the ultimate potential on the water. Costa King Tide, rule the water.
Let's talk candidly about long-range fishing. This is Captain Frank DePresti of the Royal Polaris and the Shogun. Nowhere on Earth will you find a fleet of long-range boats like we have in San Diego. We are fortunate to have several top-notch operations to take you to the most productive fishing grounds in the world. We all offer good food, comfortable staterooms, huge bait capacity, and top-of-the-line fish-finding electronics. So why would you choose the Royal Polaris or the Shogun for your next long-range trip? What sets us apart from the rest? It's pretty simple. The boats, the crew, and the service. From the moment you arrive at Fisherman's Landing, the service begins. We help you load your gear and do everything possible to get beginners or seasoned veterans ready to catch fish. When it's time to fish, the Royal Polaris and the Shogun have the edge there too, delivering the 2 best fishing platforms in the fleet. But don't take my word for it. Come fishing with us. If you want the best, it's Royal Polaris and the Shogun. For more information, call 619-226-8030 or on the web at royalpolarissportfishing.com or shogunsportfishing.com.
Many years ago, Baja pioneer Bob Van Wormer found the area he called the Great Fish Trap in the East Cape of southern Baja and built what is now regarded as the premier East Cape resorts of Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Today, following in their father's footsteps, Bob's sons, Bobby, Chucky, and Eddie, have taken Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol to new levels with the largest sport fishing fleet in Mexico, a luxurious spa, and top-of-the-line resort amenities. Van Wormer Resorts have become a destination for travelers worldwide. But for us, Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol are just a short 2-hour flight away. No other tropical fishing destination offers the experience and value that you'll find at Palmas de Cortez and Playa del Sol. Now you can plan your Baja fishing vacation quick and easy by visiting VanWormerResorts.com. And when you're ready to book, it's quick and easy. Or simply call 877-777-TUNA for more information. Van Wormer Resorts, the East Cape's finest.
I got a garage full of fishing tackle, and every time I get out on the water, I realize I forgot something important. But I never forget my life jacket. I make sure my buddies wear theirs, too. Save the ones you love. A message from California State Parks Division of Boating and Waterways.